This room is called the Marineland Room here at Terranea, which recalls double happy memories for me with my dad. When my siblings, Mike and Sandra and I were kids, Dad brought us here several times to Marineland, to these exact grounds decades ago to visit Marineland, one of the original ocean aquarium parks in the country, where we watched killer whales, sea lions, and dolphins perform and enjoyed the seaside scenery. Dad also brought us here as adults to Terranea, where we continue to enjoy the lovely view and more good times. Wheelchair walks, lunch with Ed. Ed, where are you? Lunch with Ed, festive meals with Audrey, strolls and swims with kids and friends. Today I would like to share with you some other fond memories, thoughts, and feelings of our dad, Frank Lowman. Dad shared some wonderful gifts with Mike, Sandra, and me. Like his love of the coast. Dad was always most peaceful and happy at the beach, staring at the ocean, swimming and playing in the ocean and walking or jogging along the beach. Yes, he did jog. Mike and I, just the same way. And Dad's love of dogs was our love of dogs. We always had at least one dog, often more. As Dad found terrific company with a dog, so did Mike and I. And Sandra, the vet tech, made dogs her life's passion. Sandra and I picked up Dad's lifelong pastime of reading. We branched out a bit from his interest in war history, but nonetheless were introduced very gratefully to the joy of reading a book from our dad. And I remember a time Dad and Mike went camping on Catalina Island together with the Boy Scouts. When they got home, they were excited to tell us of their scary adventures with the wild boars there. When I was growing up, Dad and I had best friends who were also father and daughter. I have wonderful memories of playing doubles tennis with Mr. Green and Ann, and going skiing all together and scarfing on gidung. Somebody knows, somebody's in the Navy. Gidung, Dad taught me, was what the Navy calls ice cream. Thank you. Once in a while, Dad took Ann and me on day trips to the mountains or an amusement park or an overnight ski trip. Those long road trips singing along to Barbra Streisand or bopping in the back seat to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. It was Dad's music or no music. But we didn't complain because eventually we'd be rewarded for our wherewithal with a dinner solely of M&Ms. When I was in high school, Dad would wake me up early on the weekdays so we could go jogging together with the dogs Clancy and Waldo. And some weekend mornings, we'd drive all the way to the beach, the one just down the hill from where Dad and Audrey built their house, to run with the dogs. We had to go early so we wouldn't get caught. Dad was a sports fan. He and I went to many LA Rams games together, though his all-time favorite team was always the San Francisco 49ers, except when his and Mike's friendly rivalry with Mr. Richardson got going. I remember the time Dad accompanied a young Mike to knock on the door of Mike's favorite Rams player, Merlin Olsen, to ask him to autograph Mike's life-size poster of the defensive captain. And when Sandra developed a crush on LA's Kings ice hockey goalie Rogie Vachon, Dad indulged her and started taking us to ice hockey games. And I picked up Dad's fondness for San Francisco and Northern California. I'll always remember when Dad took me on my first wine tasting tour, sometime when I was in college in San Francisco. We drove up to Napa and toured the Beringer Winery. I felt so grown up. We also went to the Legion of Honor Art Museum in San Francisco to take in the serenity of the French Impressionist paintings he loved so much. Once in a while, my brother Mike, my sister Sandra, and I, when we were young, Dad took us to Tijuana for the day. He enjoyed haggling with the vendors for the goofy stuff we'd ask for, and to eat in the hole-in-the-wall Mexican restaurants. Dad shared his fascination with ships with me, and we enjoyed taking strolls along piers and docks, chatting about the different types of ships, their various parts, what they do and where they go. In later years, we'd still do this, but by looking through those binoculars that always are on the bar at his house. Dad also introduced me to the fun of browsing bookshops and used book sales. The last time he and I went to one together was right here in Malik Cove's library book sale a couple years ago. And it's because of Dad that we were raised Catholic, providing each of us with a strong spiritual faith in a higher power, a helpful higher power. The last time I saw my dad was in February 2020. On that trip, he gave me another tour of the Micronova warehouse, as always, making sure to stop by at the tape section. And back in the office, we gazed together at the picture on the wall of the bridge in France, and he sang me the song, Sur le pont Avignon. And when I left, I took home with me several little lemons from one of the lemon trees he was so proud of. I planted the seeds from those lemons and now have 8 small lemon plants growing in pots inside our house in Philadelphia. I hadn't known then that I wouldn't see my dad again. Later that year, I sent a Father's Day card that simply said, "Thank you for being my dad." I hadn't known that would be the last Father's Day card I would be giving. But I am so grateful I chose that card that last year. And I'm so grateful for those little lemon sprouts that, for me, Dad sort of lives on in. There's a story Dad told me, honestly, not that long ago. He told me about the time his dad took him out hunting for the first time. The only time my dad even ever hunted. He told me that he'd killed a deer, and as he spoke, it looked like he was tearing up at the memory. He seemed to be feeling the shock and sadness all over again. We all know him as a bullish kind of man, but he did have a soft and mushy part too. That's the side I cherish. That's the side who taught me this song so very long ago. A peanut sat on a railroad track. His heart was all aflutter. Along the track came a train. Toot, toot, peanut butter. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for everything. I love you.
Chrissy, thank you so much for sharing the softer side of Frank that some of us didn't know. It's true. And next, another family member, Grace, is going to grace us with a wonderful song.
This song is actually a suggestion from my grandmother, but I don't think I could have come up with a better song myself. My cousins always called our grandfather Granddad, and we always called him Papa. So this is an old German song that has been translated into English and redone multiple times by the likes of the Everly Brothers, Bjork, Susie and the Banshees, and my favorite, Connie Francis. This is pertinent to the song, my earliest memory of Papa was him holding Katie, my cousin, and I on his knee and chanting, "Trot, trot to Boston, trot, trot to Lynn, better watch out or you'll fall in." One second. Oh, my Papa, to me he was so wonderful. Oh, my Papa, to me he was so good. No one could be so gentle and so wonderful. Oh, my Papa, he always understood. Gone are the days when he would take me on his knee, and with a smile he'd change my tears to laughter. Oh, my Papa, so funny, so adorable, always the clown, so funny in his way. Oh, my Papa, to me he was so wonderful. Deep in my heart, I miss him so today.